Is it over for Honda and Yamaha? This is the cheapest and most complete 150cc currently available in our country. Will it dethrone the reign of the CG from Honda or go head-to-head with the Factor from Yamaha? This is the Bajaj Pulsar N150, and this video covers everything you need to know. Technical features, colors, price, city and highway performance, fuel and insurance costs, and of course my honest opinion, including both positives and negatives. I'm Amanda Pagliari. This is the most charming motorcycle channel in Brazil, and it also brings you the most complete two-wheel videos. Please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. The Pulsar 150 came to compete in the best-selling segment in Brazil, the Street, which is currently dominated by the Honda CG, followed by the Factor from Yamaha. Abroad, this motorcycle has already been discontinued, being replaced by the Pulsar N160, which got improvements in the suspension, brakes, and of course the engine, as well as some visual details. There's still no forecast for it to arrive in our country, but I believe that it might come in the future. Just like abroad, with progress, Brazil has what it needs to get there. But at the moment, this motorcycle is very successful since it offers features far ahead of its competitors with a very competitive price. And who is it for? First of all, yes, it can be used by beginners. If you just got your driver's license, you can start with the Pulsar 150 and you won't have any trouble at all. It's also recommended for those with a car in the garage or a large motorcycle, who is looking for a vehicle to get around the city in an economical, agile, practical and smart way, escaping traffic by riding in the lane. This motorcycle here will meet your needs, and of course it's also recommended for those who want to work whether as a delivery rider or using delivery apps. So yes, this motorcycle will definitely meet your needs. Not only because of the fuel and parts savings, but also because the purchase cost is very low. The N150 came to debut the Pulsar family, and we already have the 150 and the NS400 confirmed in our country. And unlike the Dominar family, the Pulsar family has a much more aggressive and sporty look, which I prefer. That's my opinion. Write yours down below. So, we have sharper fairings, a more spearhead-like style, and a real street fighter look. So here we have the headlight assembly, right? A very slim, small headlight. The tank is really muscular. It doesn't even look like a 150cc motorcycle. Here we have the finishing. The spoiler at the bottom gives it a more refined look, and the anti-spray fender is down here at the bottom. In fact, the wheels already come standard from the factory, with this very beautiful red sticker here in this color. Anyway, the motorcycle is very well finished and it says Pulsar here in raised letters. This black color here, I think it's one of the most beautiful. I'll talk about all the available features in a moment. The exhaust is down here at the bottom, really well hidden. In my opinion, it's much more beautiful than that big pipe on the right side. And it already comes standard with a center stand and an engine guard here. For lighting, we have an LED headlight, the optical set here, with this really interesting daytime running light. It almost looks like the motorcycle's eye. Here we have a projector headlight, and we have a headlight, high beam, and also a flasher. The taillight is also LED, very beautiful. However, the turn signals use conventional bulbs. The seat is a single-piece type, and it has a small lumbar support here for the rider. It's actually quite generous here for the passenger. The passenger has this handle here to hold on to, but I have to admit, for the passenger, holding here is a little bit difficult, let's say. The seat height is 79 centimeters, okay? And it's on the center stand. But I believe that even with it on the center stand, I can still put both feet on the ground. And I think this motorcycle has a really good height. I believe that most riders will fit here on this 79 centimeter seat. Riding position here, take a look. The legs are slightly angled, here at 45 degrees, and apparently it doesn't cause any discomfort. My legs grip well. Here on the tank, there's this design right here specifically so you can have more control of the motorcycle and fit in well. The upper tank is very sturdy. It's worth taking a test ride, seeing it up close, because this bike doesn't even seem like it has 150 cc. So we have a light bike here. It weighs 145 kilos in total, including all the fluids and the fuel tank, which has a capacity for 14 liters of gasoline. It's not flex fuel. Here we have a rubberized foot peg for the rider and a simple one here for the passenger. It has a very nice black finish. I really liked it. The dashboard is 100% digital with this dark background here and these white letters. Up here, we have the tachometer. We have the fuel gauge here on the left side, the gear indicator showing which gear is engaged right here for you. Here is the speedometer, trip computer information on the right side and also at the bottom. It's showing engine off. It's saying that the engine is off. Now I can access the information down here. Let's go. It has information here about instant fuel consumption. It appears as you drive. And here on the right side, distance to empty means range. How far you can go with the gas you still have in the tank by pressing the M button. Here we switch the information, so we have the average consumption for trip A, average consumption for trip B, and here we can access the information. Here, you can turn the motorcycle's Bluetooth on or off because it has connectivity with the Bajaj app, the Bajaj Ride Connect. You can access information like calls and alerts. At the top, you'll see the total and trip odometers. As you switch, there's trip B, trip A, and you can reset them and track your partial trips, right? You just reset it and you can take measurements, for example, for city and highway. Here on the outside, there are some peepholes, right? Including the turn signals. Up here on the tank, we have a USB port with a cover. The buttons are backlit. There are bigger and more expensive bikes that don't even have this feature. Here, on the left side controls, we have the button to adjust the dashboard. The turn signal is to the left and to the right, and the horn. And back here, the high beam button and also the flasher. And it doesn't have hazard lights or adjustable levers. On the right side, we have the button to cut off the engine power. And here, the electric starter. If you thought that just because it came with an auxiliary pedal, it didn't have an electric starter, you were wrong. The engine is a single cylinder with 149.68 cubic centimeters that produces 14 horsepower at 8,500 revolutions per minute and 1.38 kilogram force meter at 6,000 revolutions per minute. It has a final transmission by chain and 5 gears. Both wheels are made of light alloy, rim 17, and used tubeless tires. For the brakes, we have a single disc in the front with a diameter of 260 millimeters, and in the rear, a mechanical drum. In the front suspension, we have a conventional telescopic fork with a diameter of 31 millimeters. In the rear, there's a monoshock with preload adjustment. And now that I've told you everything about the Pulsar 150, it's time to ride in the city and also hit the road. And finish the video with the positive and negative points. And if you think this video is super complete, how about leaving a like, huh? And at the end, if you like it, subscribe to the channel. Now come ride with me. In the city, it does well. 4-lane splitting, it's very easy to handle this bike. It's light in the lane. It's easy to handle. Oh, the engine. It's an engine that's enough for the city for an entry-level motorcycle. I think it's okay. I'll test it on the highway soon, but in the city, what did I notice? Like this? At first, it takes a little while to shift gears, but after it does, it starts responding well. But it's important for you to do a test ride. I think for those looking for a bike for the city, this one is enough. Because it has this really sporty look, right? It makes you want to speed up, but hold on, it's not the NS400. It's a 150 bike with a more progressive engine. I like that the outlet is right here. Look, we need that. I think the seat could be a little more comfortable. Especially for those who are going to spend hours and hours working here on top of the Pulsar N150. But for those just getting around, I think it's fine. For those who are going to work, going to college, I think the bike seat is okay. Okay. The brakes, look, the rear drum here is well adjusted. It's good. No slack, right? So if you just touch it, it already brakes. Yeah, the front brakes well too. But of course, right? We always like disc brakes. The more safety, the better. But look, do you see the suspension here? I think it could be a little more refined, or the seat could be more comfortable, right? Because the seat also helps to absorb the imperfections of the road. But that's the thing, right, guys? It's a street bike, not a trail bike. But I think that in the future, Bajaj could improve this part even more. But it's important that you take a test ride, that you ride it yourself and make your own decision. But that's my opinion. But honestly, to get away from traffic, to be on the go to work, the little bike works really well. And it's interesting to tell you that this bike is actually older than the 160 project. So it's a much more validated engine. It's a project that's been tested a lot more because it came before. And so it's been running for much longer, not just in India, but in several countries around the world. So for sure it is. It's actually a much more reliable project than the NS160, right? Than the Dominar. There you go. Look, come here. A very agile little bike to ride around the city. And I think that's it. Someone looking for a bike like this wants something light, agile, easy to ride, and economical. And it really delivers. It truly does. But that's it. In traffic, I didn't have any trouble at all. The motorcycle performed really well. And even though it's not really meant for the highway, let's hit the road and see how it does out here on the freeway. Here on the road, 5 gears and 112. Now it went up a little, 113. It's just because I turned on the camera. Guys, downhill, wind in our favor, 118. You just hit 120. That's what the dashboard says. Okay, guys? Dashboard. Look, 120 kilometers per hour going downhill. But don't expect too much performance from the Pulsar 150 here. That's its purpose. It's for the city, right? So on the road, we know it's going to have that kind of performance, okay? On most Brazilian roads, it's going to do well since most of them are paved. 80, 100, it will do fine on those that are 120, but you'll need to stay more in the middle lane anyway. At first, it's stable. It didn't estimate anything. The vibration, surprisingly, is minimal. And that was something that surprised me. This little project, I think it's really more well-rounded. It's because the others that came later, precisely for longevity, had years and years of feedback. And I ride the motorcycle steadily. You can ride through here. It doesn't shake. That's important for anyone riding a light motorcycle on the road, since the bike can get too light and you might lose stability. But here on the road, it's doing really well. We're not going at high speeds. Cruising speed, yes, it's about 60 miles per hour, 100, 111 accelerating, all on the straight. With a passenger, the performance will drop. There's no way around it. It's okay. On the road, that's not what it's made for, so it'll perform similarly to its competitors. There's no way around it. For those who want a quicker little bike on the road, I'd mention the NS200, the Dominar, right? There's a Dominar video here. I'll add the link to the card and description. I'll watch it later. And then you have a more powerful bike, better suited for riding on the road? The 150 surprised me when it comes to vibration. I thought it would vibrate more, but it actually surprised me in a good way. That's it. The seat was hard and there's no way around it. I think anyone who rides it for several hours will feel a bit uncomfortable. For getting around, no, but if you spend the whole day on it, I think you'll feel it a bit, yes. All right, but I'll go into more detail about that in the pros and cons, so let's go. When it comes to consumption, we know that the more you accelerate, the more it's going to use. There's no way around it. In fact, in my test, I drove in the city and on the highway, also trying out the top speed, driving really fast all the time. So I end up getting higher consumption than many owners report. According to the dashboard, this was my consumption. City and highway combined, driving aggressively, it got 28 kilometers per liter. Some report over 30 kilometers per liter. Are you a Pulsar owner? Write down here what kind of fuel consumption you get with it. When it comes to insurance, we know that regardless of the type of motorcycle in Brazil, get insurance. Trust me. Even more so if you use it for work, if it's your work tool. There's nothing worse than paying installments for something that isn't yours anymore. No, because even if thieves took it, the debt remains. So, get insurance. I'll discuss the pros and cons of the Pulsar N150. Remember, Amandinha doesn't claim to know everything. You have every right to agree or disagree as long as you use the comments respectfully. First, make sure you're subscribed to Motoplay channel with notifications on. If so, comment as much as you like. Starting with the positive points. Look at the cycling, guys. This motorcycle is perfect for riding in the city, very light, very agile. So a positive point for the cycling. Another good thing is the agility. So, for those looking for a vehicle to use every day in traffic, this motorcycle will serve you very well. So, that's another positive point. Another advantage of this motorcycle is the USB port beside the handlebars, right where it's needed. Another positive point is the ABS on the front. The more safety, the better, right? Another good thing is the illuminated switches. There are much more expensive and bigger bikes from other brands that don't have this feature. So that's a positive point. And speaking of features, it already comes standard with a center stand and also an engine guard. That's a good thing. The headlight is another plus. The LED design looks great and lights up better. Besides, of course, saving the battery here. The design is another positive point. The Street Fighter design draws attention wherever it goes. This is the kind of motorcycle you use for work during the week and can ride for fun on the weekend, and you'll look great when you arrive at a party. Economy is another positive point. If you ride it gently in the city, you can get a range of 400 kilometers on a single tank. So that's a good thing. Another good thing is that it's comfortable for the passenger. Okay, although this handle here is really bad for carrying since the passenger will have to hold on back here behind the seat. It's comfortable besides the suspension, right? So it's good for carrying a passenger around the city. Another plus is the dashboard's connectivity and comprehensive display, including average fuel consumption. And it also performs well in terms of range. How far can you go with the gas that's in the tank? And another thing that surprised me, a positive point, is the low vibration. It surprised me, you know? I thought it would vibrate even more. Okay, single-cylinder engines vibrate, but it still surprised me. The vibration was minimal on the road, you know, going full throttle, pushing the bike to its limit. So that's a positive point. And the last positive point, but not least, is the fixed price maintenance. That's a good thing because even before you buy it, you already know how much you'll spend on maintenance. And from what I've seen, from what I've researched, it's much lower than the competitors. So it's a plus, and it comes with a 3-year warranty. Now, I'm going to talk about the negative points of the Pulsar 150, starting with the seat, which in my opinion could be a little more comfortable. That's if you're going to spend long hours on it. Why am I saying this? This motorcycle is generally comfortable, okay? Position, suspension, I like those. For getting around the city, there's no problem. but I rode about 60 kilometers straight with it on the route I took from Sao Paulo to the countryside. I admit I felt some discomfort. If you're someone who gets on and off the motorcycle all the time, then I think you won't feel it much. Or for commuting to work, to college, to get around the city, I also think you won't feel it. But if you're going to spend many hours on it, it might bring a little discomfort. That's why it's important for you to go to the dealership, visit Carreira Bajaj, so you can take a test ride and draw your own conclusions. Some people are more sensitive, others are less sensitive. But that was my negative point regarding the seat. I think in the future it could have slightly more comfortable padding. Another negative point, without a doubt, is the mechanical drum brake in the back. For me, mechanical drum brakes should be abolished from the face of the earth. Okay, this version I got for testing is very well adjusted. So at no point did the Pulsar scare me when it came to braking, but we know that in the rain, right? You end up losing a little bit. The disc is always much safer than the drum. So I think that's something that was missing, right, Ms. Bajaj? Negative point. The main negative points have already been mentioned. Now I'll mention a few that, in my opinion, could be improved in the future. First, the motorcycle's lighting system only works when the motorcycle is running. Picture yourself in a pitch-black garage or on a dark road at night. And you need to start the motorcycle to actually turn it on, right? So that the headlight turns on. So at least the daytime running light could turn on. That's my opinion. I think they could fix that in the future. This one, I don't even think I need to mention, right? But sometimes the obvious needs to be said. Its purpose isn't to hit the road. It's an urban motorcycle for the city. So yes, it's going to be weak on the highway. Especially if you're carrying a passenger and luggage, you'll end up struggling a bit on the highway. That's why, if you want a motorcycle that's a bit more suited for riding on the highway with safety and agility, with a more powerful engine, I recommend you go for the Dominar 200 because that one does really well in the city and also has the power for highway riding. There's a full review video of it. I'll leave the link in the description and also in the card. And the last downside is the after-sales service. According to the manufacturer, Bajaj do Brazil, they're regularizing things. They've already fixed all the issues. There are plenty of parts in stock. They've trained the network, partnered with Senai, and so on. However, every now and then, a video goes viral of some owner somewhere in Brazil protesting and complaining. It even became a trend, right? When questioned, Bajaj claims these are isolated issues, sometimes due to dealership communication errors. Anyway, in general, they are improving this after-sales issue, but I can't ignore the fact that a lot of people are complaining. So take that into consideration. In general, the brand says they are solving it, but I want to know your opinion. You, Bajaj owner, write your experience here in the comments. And it is available in 3 colors with a suggested price, already including shipping, of 16,300 reais and a 3-year warranty. So that's it. If you liked the video, leave a like, share it with your friends, and tell me what you thought about this motorcycle. It's really complete. Can it compete with Honda and Yamaha now that Bajaj is a motorcycle manufacturer? That's right. They are welding the chassis in Brazil, and it could surpass the mark of 20,000 units a year. So there will be a lot of Bajaj motorcycles. The factory currently has the capacity for 48,000 units per year. And I think it's going to be really good. There you go. Another strong competitor, now a manufacturer, joining the few that exist in Brazil. I'll leave the link to the factory visit with this news in detail here in the description and also in the card. Are you going to watch it later? Have you already shared this video with your friends in your WhatsApp groups? And the more brands we have in our country, the better. Especially with this price, right? Up here, I'll leave a really cool video for you. And down here, I'll leave the video about the Pulsar NS 400, which was launched in Brazil. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and there are benefits for members who are subscribed here in the link in the description. There are benefits, giveaways, exclusive early content, and much more. Become a member of the Moto Play channel. See you next time, Moto Kiss!